Edward is one of the oldest engines on the island of Sodor. He pulls coaches, and of course, he pulls freight cars. One day, Edward returned to the sheds. Gordon, Henry, and Toby were bragging. "Well, well, Edward," laughed Gordon. "You must be decent. And you can't be strong like us," chuckled Henry. This made Edward sad. "Don't worry, Edward," said Toby. "You may be stronger than Henry and Gordon. Why not pull some freight cars for a change?" "Thank you, Toby," said Edward. And he puffed proudly away to collect his freight cars from the docks. "Look, Henry," said Gordon, "that not-so-strong Edward is leaving right now." Soon, Edward arrived at the docks. "Good morning, Edward," said Neil. "Can I help you today?" "Yes," said Edward. "Please find some freight cars, and I want to be strong. I know," said Neil. "Don't you worry about it, Edward." "Well," said Edward, "what I'm trying to say is I would be faster and stronger than Henry or Gordon." "Right," Neil agreed, and he went off to collect his freight cars. Soon, Neil had got Edward's freight cars in line. "All right, Edward," said Neil. "You're ready." "Thank you, Neil," said Edward. "I'll be a lot stronger than Henry and Gordon." Soon, Edward had all his freight cars hooked up, and he set off proudly for the countryside. Edward was feeling pleased with himself. "Silly big engine," said Edward. "I'll be more stronger than any other engine." But Edward had spoken too soon. After he went through the level crossing, a freight car and a brake van had been left behind. Edward knew this wasn't a good time to stop. "Wait, Edward," shouted his driver. "You left your freight car and a brake van behind." Edward heard his driver, and he screeched to a halt. "What happened?" asked Edward. "All I'm saying is," said the driver, "you have left your brake van and your freight car behind. Now we'll have to go all the way back and get them." Edward knew he wasn't strong after all. "Maybe Henry can pull them all," said Edward. "I'll go to Tidmouth's sheds and tell Henry that I need his help." And he puffed away. When Edward returned to the sheds, Henry and Gordon could not believe their eyes. "Look," said Henry, "there he is," laughed Gordon. Edward felt very shamefaced. "Henry," said Edward sadly, "I was wrong. I'm not as strong as you. Can you pull all these freight cars for me?" Henry didn't laugh anymore. "Of course, Edward," said Henry. "I'll pull your freight train for you." Soon, Henry had left Tidmouth's sheds and turned on the turntable, and he puffed proudly away. When Henry reached the level crossing, he knew he had to go back to pick up the rest of the cars. "Should we go backwards?" asked Henry. "Of course, Henry," agreed his driver. So Henry started to reverse to some freight cars that Edward left behind. Soon, Henry could know that some freight cars were waiting near the railway crossing. And soon, Henry was hitched up to his freight cars. With a mighty heave, Henry pulled away as easy as pie. At the sheds, Edward was feeling content when Henry returned. "I've made it," Henry said proudly. "Good work, Henry," said Toby. "Good work," agreed Edward. So Gordon apologized. "I'm sorry I was rude to you, Edward," said Gordon. "And you were right. You may not be as strong as you once were." "No problem, Gordon," agreed Edward. "I should pull the express for a while. Would you allow that?" "Of course, Edward," chuckled Gordon. Edward was the happiest of all.